clawing our way out of our graves to bring you your weekly dose of chaos and darkness. I'm Rexy.
And I'm Lily, and this is the Morning Report.
All right. I asked Daryl for
Did he
another news
deliver?
story, and he delivered. Yep, I've got a pretty freaking great one, and it's funny because this goes so well with the story that we're talking about today. Well, the second half of the story that we're talking about today. So, how do I open this show? Beloved Mourners is weird and I don't like it. But like, hey Mourners is like, it's too happy.
You know what? It's too late to figure this out right now. We are 3 episodes deep. Like, let's just keep
You've
going.
got no brain cells left. All right.
We'll talk about it and we'll figure it out. As I'm stuck in like all
We'll
the weird
there.
places. There we go.
There we go. Okay. Lily's back. All right.
I'm back.
All right, I'm gonna kick us off with this news story. Okay, this is coming to us from IFL Science. It was published February 9th of this year.
Mm-hmm.
And the headline is 12-year-old builds replica of Archimedes' death ray, and it works. I don't know how Daryl got this so perfect. But Daryl, this is so perfect this week. All right. It was written by Benjamin Taub and edited by Francesca Benson. And we will, I need to remember, this is a note for me editing later, drop a picture of the original death ray right here, because I have a fun picture of it. A grade 8 student from Ontario, Canada, has helped to settle a long-standing historical debate by proving that a so-called death ray, designed by the ancient Greek polymath Archimedes, could really have worked. The weapon, which supposedly harnessed the sun's rays in order to incinerate enemy ships, is reported to have been deployed against Roman navy with deadly consequences, yet researchers have yet to discern whether the ancient contraption really existed. To help resolve the dispute, 12-year-old Brendan Senior built a scaled-down version of it and ultimately concluded that the concept works and could plausibly have been used in battle. The original death ray is said to have been used against the invading Romans during the siege of Syracuse, which lasted from 213 to 212 BCE. As warships advanced on the Hellenistic city, which is located on the island of Sicily, local defenders turned to Archimedes' inventions to help keep the enemy at bay. I agree. Take down the uteri with the death ray. Among the wonderful machines rumored to have been used is the famous Claw of Archimedes, which supposedly lifted Roman ships out of the water before dropping them from a great height.
See, I feel like somewhere between ancient Greek and Rome and now, we lost some cool points.
Yeah, some massive cool points. Archimedes also placed mirrors along the Bay of Syracuse in order to focus the sun's rays onto the enemy ships, causing them to burst into flames.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. While some scholars, including the famous French philosopher René Descartes, I'm not sure if I put the right inflection in that, but I tried, have dismissed the whole idea as fiction, and others have attempted to recreate the weapon with reasonable success. In 2005, for instance, a team from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, or MIT, found that Archimedes' design could set a ship alight in just 11 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah. With no enemies to vaporize, Senior settled for a tabletop version of the ancient death ray, using a series of concave mirrors and LED desk lamps. He found that when using the reflectors to focus a 50-watt heat source onto a piece of cardboard, the temperature of the target could be raised by 2 degrees Celsius, or 3.6 degrees Fahrenheit, with each additional mirror up to a total of 3 mirrors. Adding a 4th mirror then caused a massive temperature jump of 8 degrees Celsius, or 14.4 degrees Fahrenheit.
Holy crap.
When he repeated the experiment using a 100-watt lamp, he found that the change in temperature with each mirror was 4 degrees Celsius, up to 3 mirrors, and an additional 10 degrees Celsius with the fourth mirror. Based on my experimental findings, I agree with the MIT group, and I believe with the strong enough heat source and large multiple mirrors all focused at perfect angle, combustion could be possible, writes the Young study author. Ultimately, he concludes that the historical descriptions of the use of the death ray in ancient Syracuse is plausible. However, no archaeological evidence of the Archimedes death ray has been found, besides what is recorded in the books of ancient philosophers. For his efforts, Senior has been awarded the Matthews Hall Annual Science Fair Gold Medal, the Physical Sciences Thames Valley Science and Engineering Fair Gold Medal, and the London Public Library Award for inspiring children's interests in science and technology.
So what we're not going to do is we're not going to let the little one, my little one, read this article at all.
Do what? Come back. I didn't hear that.
No, I said what we're not going to do is let my little one read this article or listen to this podcast at all.
No, she will use the powers for evil.
Jeez, Louise.
Or at least pure chaos.
Look, she's going to do great things. Whether that's in the penal system or outside of the penal system has yet to be determined.
This is true. Our next little Harley Quinn.
Jesus Christ.
Okay.
Go. So you ready?
Yes.
You ready?
Yes. Give me the rest.
Yeah, that's what she said.
Now. That's also what she said.
Okay, so now we have 15-year-old David trying to figure out how to get all this stuff. And what's he going to do? He's going to pretend to be a professor. I'm excited. So, I'm stuck. Gosh darn it. I'm so excited. So, using the info that he put in his Eagle Scout pamphlets, he learned which everyday items used radioactive elements and learned exactly how to use those elements from scientists who made up the nuclear agencies around the world country. So, for example, you can find the element americium in smoke detectors.
Okay.
So he posed as a professor and got a smoke alarm company to sell him 100 broken detectors for $1 each.
Oh no. Okay.
But on this phone call, he admitted he didn't know where the americium was in the smoke detector. So the customer service agent that he was speaking to flat out told him where it was and how to extract it.
That's amazing.
No, it's just a little to the left, and you just. So he learned.
That's what she said.
Yeah, that is what she said. Anyway, so he learned that you can get thorium from those little glowing gas lantern mantles.
Okay.
Tritium from gun sights, and again, painstakingly scraping tiny bits of paint from old clocks and watches to get samples of radium.
Wow. Okay.
So, little by little, over the span of 3 years, David acquired enough of all of these radioactive elements to weld together into a mass. That mass was put inside a block of lead with a pinhole-sized barrel tunneling out from the core to one side to create what is known as a neutron gun.
Okay.
It blasts neutrons at radioactive elements, the first step in creating nuclear fission. So, now he needed something to shoot. He thought there might be enough uranium just naturally occurring in rocks all over the place, what he called hot rocks.
Okay.
So he walked around everywhere with a Geiger counter to find hot rocks. And eventually he just strapped the Geiger counter to the hood of his car to try finding them.
Wow. Okay, so he's like 18 or something by now.
Yes.
Okay.
So he didn't find any hot rocks driving over all over Michigan. So he called the company in Czechoslovakia that sold uranium. And again, he pretended to be a professor looking for research material. And of course, they just sold radioactive material to a random stranger without any kind of background check or identity confirmation.
No problem. Here you go.
It's Czechoslovakia. They had better things to do at the time. I just don't understand. Like, who, and I know we don't do this now, and this is why, but like, we don't just hand off radioactive elements to anybody.
It's dangerous.
As a world,
we need to know that you know what you're doing.
As a planet, we have decided that is wrong. So, I'm so excited because this is when it gets fun.
This is when it gets fun?
This is when it gets fun.
Okay.
He welded the radium and the americium, I don't even know how to remotely pronounce that, so whatever, together and surrounded that with little aluminum packets of thorium.
Leo, you're fired.
And uranium
So fired.
pulverized with a hammer into powder. All packed together by duct tape with a neutron gun pointed at it. All of a sudden, at 17 years old, David had everything he needed to build his little own Chernobyl in his backyard.
This has been... Okay.
His experiment was working and his shed was literally glowing. So, while what he built wasn't quite a nuclear reactor, what he built was creating radiation.
Okay.
So burning the lantern mantles down
that
to ash.
should not have been happening.
No. So burning the lantern mantles down to ash created thorium so pure that it was 9,000 times the radiation level of thorium found in nature. And 170 times the level that requires licensing by the Nuclear Regulatory Commission.
Bro.
So, as he monitored radiation levels, he wore a makeshift lead apron to protect him from radiation.
Makeshift. A makeshift lead apron. Oi, do we know what he made this apron out of?
Lead. I mean, it just I don't know, but probably lead. I love you.
I hope so. I hope it's lead.
So he wore the makeshift lead apron to protect him from radiation. He threw his clothes and shoes away after each session in the shed.
Okay.
His experiment had worked. The radiation created was sustained and growing. But when he saw the radiation could be detected from 5 houses down from his mom's house, he realized his project could be putting people at risk.
Kevin says, this little light of mine.
So, David started dismantling the reactor in hopes of reducing the concentration of radiation. He put some of the thorium and uranium packets in a shoebox and hid it in his mom's house.
Okay.
Left the radium and the americium in the shed and put the rest of the thorium uranium packets with the dismantled reactor in the trunk of his car in the middle of the night on August 31st, 1994.
Okay.
While loading up his car, a neighbor called the cops on him, thinking he was stealing tires off of cars.
Oh, no.
When the police showed up, they decided to search his car. At first, they were only suspicious of the foil packs full of ambiguous whitish powders.
Okay, that's fair.
But Then they found a padlocked metal box wrapped in duct tape. And when David said to be careful with it because it was radioactive, the cops thought it was a bomb.
Okay.
Told you it got good.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Then the police towed his car to police headquarters, where all of their coworkers were with said potential bomb still inside. A bomb
I think
squad.
this is a bomb. Let's bring it with us.
Yeah, let's just take it to work. It'll be fine. That's where the bomb squad is. That's also why the bomb squad is mobile.
Oh.
So, a bomb squad and radiological team was called in. They figured out it wasn't a bomb, but the radiation levels coming from his car triggered a response from the Federal Radiation Emergency Response Team.
Oh no. Okay. Oh. This kid's like a junior in high school.
David was arrested, but uncooperative when questioned.
Oh no.
He gave them his dad's address where he lived, but not his mom's. So it
Okay.
wasn't until 3 months later that authorities learned about him making a reactor in his mom's shed.
How did they find out? Okay.
I guess it finally just slipped. I don't know. But officials went to assess the damage at the end of November, where the site was still measuring at 1,000 times the level of radiation found in nature. On top of that, since it had taken them so long, 3 months, to know about the shed, David's mom had already gone through the shed and thrown a bunch of stuff away.
No.
So
Oh, no.
the neutron gun, the radium and thorium pellets that were easily more radioactive than the shed itself were all thrown away and taken to a landfill, and exposing an exponential number of people to radiation in Detroit.
No.
It took 2 more months of different environmental and nuclear emergency teams throwing the you cleaned it up hot potato back and forth
Ugh.
before someone took responsibility, and another 5 months after that for the EPA to show up in moon suits and finally tear down the shed.
Wow.
They cut it into pieces, put the pieces in 39 steel barrels, and buried them in the Great Salt Lake Desert in Utah alongside other nuclear waste.
Wow. That is wild.
David was advised to get examined for radiation poisoning,
Uh-huh.
but refused for fear of what he might learn.
Oh no. It's like, yeah, I
No, I don't want to know.
probably messed myself up. Just don't tell me.
I already know. It's okay. We're good. I just,
Oh,
it's like it's Schrodinger's cat. I don't need to know.
right. If I don't know, it's not there.
Right. Um, so David was, but refused to get examined. It was found that 40,000 nearby residents were potentially exposed to elevated levels of radiation over the years, but no immediate measurable impact to plants or animals was found. Most residents of the area were never informed of the potential exposure, and the radiation expert for the Michigan Department of Public Health had no idea that David's mom had thrown out a bunch of radioactive trash, or that David had tried to build a breeder reactor until a reporter came to question him 3 years later.
What? That's something they need to know. People need to be aware. What the heck?
So, David became depressed after having all of his work seized. He was made fun of at school for being radioactive boy. They tried taking away his Eagle Scout badge, but in the end, he was allowed to keep it. I
I
think
mean,
that's
he
the
did the
right.
thing.
He did the thing.
Yeah, he's super smart. He just didn't probably realize exactly what he was doing.
So after graduating, David enrolled in community college, but rarely went to class. His
Okay.
parents made him join the Navy, being stationed on the nuclear powered USS Enterprise aircraft carrier. He left the Navy after 4 years, then joined the Marine Corps for a few years before receiving an honorable medical discharge.
For being too radioactive.
In 2007, the FBI got a tip that David was hiding another neutron gun in his freezer.
No! David, stop it!
In an interview with him in 2007, they discovered he'd been diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia and was writing a book and making a movie about his story. They then interviewed someone who knew David well, who claimed that David was paranoid about people who could shock genitals with their minds.
That's a very specific thing.
I feel like that happened at one point, and now he's just very scared.
Right? Yeah. Is this also just a result of all this radioactive material?
Possibly. And claimed that he was paranoid about that person and was still collecting radium and trying to build a reactor.
Wow.
Later, in 2007, he was arrested for trying to steal smoke detectors from an apartment building. And in his mugshot, he had sores on his face from possible drug use or maybe even radiation exposure.
Oh.
He was locked up for 9 months, 6 months of which was in the psychiatric unit of the county jail. And unfortunately, David died in 2016 at age 39 of an accidental overdose of a combination of alcohol, fentanyl, and sleeping pills.
Oh, damn.
So
Holy wow.
that's David Hahn, the radioactive Boy Scout.
I've never heard of that guy. That was an incredible story. Good job, you two. Good job keeping that a secret for so long, too. Like, dang. That was
The
incredible.
worst part about having to keep a secret is having to have like one-on-one conversations with Leo.
You have what, Kevin? Kevin just said, I have.
You have.
You have what?
Oh, you've heard of the story?
Oh, he was saying up there earlier that Dexter's Laboratory was like based on this, and now I really want to know if it's true. Like, did somebody hear the story of David Hahn and they were like, gotta make a cartoon?
What? Hold on.
Kevin says yes.
If I could spell, that would be even better.
Probably. Kevin says probably.
Yeah, probably.
That was a really, really fun story. Sad ending. I mean, it's such like genius and brilliance that just like kind of took him out in the end. All right. I cannot believe that we have been doing this for like 2 hours and we have had people stick around with us this whole time.
But these are people we pay to be here. So
I wish nobody gets paid for this show. Speaking of that though,
we have
we do
166 comments.
That is fantastic. We also have finally launched our Patreon. So
when?
I don't remember. Sometime during the time that we weren't able to record.
Oh, look
But it
at
is
you guys. Doing stuff
finally
without
live.
me. I'm so
Finally
proud
live.
of you.
I am trying to remember. We'll link all this stuff in the show notes because I, off the top of my head, cannot remember. Leo, if you can remember, please help me. I think we have set it for $5 to sign up, and that gets you goodies. cannot remember what the goodies are. I was not prepared for this announcement. I just decided to run into it anyway.
You just decided to do it. I had no idea that we were doing anything like this.
We've been talking
So
about it
there
for
you
like
go.
2 years.
Yes, but I didn't realize it was up and running.
Well, kind of. We don't have anybody on it yet, but you guys can go to Patreon and support the show that way. That will help us with quality, with equipment, just with managing to actually get stuff out. Oh yeah, Kevin yelling, Rexy yelling, give me money. I did a lot of that this weekend. Because as I mentioned before, over Oklahoma Comic Con, we were raising money for Real Loki Superheroes. And we were doing it with a little spinny wheel. So if people donated at least $2 to ROS, they could spin the wheel. And was just sitting behind the table yelling at people like, hey, give me money and I'll get you spin the wheel. Bring me $2 and you can maybe win a sticker all weekend. But it worked. We raised $230.
So that's awesome.
Yeah.
My ADD kicked in hardcore, and now I want to tell you this news article that I just popped up.
Okay, tell me.
Olympic silver medalist pole vaulter Katie Moon coming home to Tulsa. She's moving to Tulsa after the Paris Olympics to be closer to her husband, who is the rowing instructor at Tulsa TU, Tulsa University. Is that
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Nice. Okay. Man, this year's Olympics were something else.
Dude.
They were wild. They were amazing and hilarious and hysterical and so full of drama.
Oh my God.
I cannot get enough of Snoop. I love him anyway, but I just cannot get enough
He's
of
so
Snoop.
freaking cute.
I know.
So freaking cute.
Leo says the perks for the Patreon are sticker, extra story, spicy book recs, ...
Spicy book recs. I've got you.
Yep. So yeah, we will have more details about that in the show notes and on our social media. Leo, if you could make a post about the Patreon and we can start getting that going. And
do it.
Yeah.
Do it. Okay, but now we have to end this, because I'm tired.
Yeah, we've been here for 2 hours. It is it's what, 10
it's
where you
almost
are? Almost
10
10
o'clock.
Yeah. I have not eaten dinner. I'm starving. Really hungry. I'm also tired of standing up because my uterus is pissed off.
Go sit down.
Oy. So anyway, yeah. This was fun. Way to go, you guys.
No more marathon episodes.
Well, if we could manage to record more than once a month.
It seems, look, like it says, the gremlins seem to be under control.
Good job. Bye, guys. Thank you all so much for hanging out with us. This has been the Morning Report.
The Morning Report.